Hello there, dear friends, and welcome once again to the Relaxed Fantasy Review. On this channel, we spend our time looking at fantasy of all sorts, from books to movies to video games, and applying the characters within into the tabletop game Dungeons & Dragons 5th Edition. And today, we're going to be looking at a villain that is very well known in the modern circles. Not only is he the lead villain in the series which he comes from, but he also has appeared as secret villains and as hidden bosses and just this very, very well-known evil force in modern gaming circles. I am speaking of the lead villain in Final Fantasy VII, Sephiroth, the fallen angel. Sephiroth was born using experimentation of alien cells and was created as a super soldier. And this guy is basically the stuff of legends and has been for his entire life. He was built to be perfect and built to be super strong. But then, when he tapped into the life stream of the world that he lived in, he found an endless well of magic and power that turned him from a mere super soldier into the most dangerous creature on the planet, a suitable villain for Final Fantasy. But what would he look like inside a game of D&D? Let's have a look. Sephiroth is 27 years old, tall at 6'1", and 175 pounds, with white skin, long silver hair, and blue eyes. He is a soldier by trade, with that being his background. His race is Asimar, being a fallen angel, as it were. And his alignment is chaotic evil, basically breaking every rule in the book to further his means of destruction and seeking power. But what kind of class is he? Well, being a wielder of very, very powerful magic, as well as a master with a blade, I see no other cause but to call him a Bladesinger Wizard. The Bladesinger Wizard being one of the most ferocious fighters and powerful magic users in the worlds of D&D, a fitting class for such a villain. His strength is incredibly strong. Being 20, he is powerful enough to take on large creatures with no issue. His dexterity is 18, giving him a superhuman speed compared to most. His constitution is 16. He can certainly take a hard hit and keep on going. His intelligence is 20, powering his magical prowess to levels that most humans couldn't possibly attain. His wisdom is 12 and his charisma is 12. He's not the wisest or most charming person in the world, but he certainly is no slacker when it comes to his other abilities. He's proficient in intelligence and wisdom saving throws, as well as the skills athletics, insight, intimidation, performance, and religion. His speaks common as well as celestial, which for the circumstances here I'm just basically calling alien language. He is proficient in all weapons. I gave him the Weapon Master feat and upped it. And normally it only gives you proficiency with 4 weapons, but I just said Sephiroth can use pretty much any weapon he picks up. Not that he usually does, but he could in theory. He also is proficient in light armor, but he doesn't wear it. He actually doesn't need to. We'll go over that in a second. Given the fact that he basically exists with his mage armor spell on permanently, he has an AC of 17, and as a level 18 Bladesinger Wizard, he has 128 hit points. But he only carries 1 piece of gear. He doesn't wear armor, and he doesn't carry tools. He simply carries his giant sword, the legendary greatsword Masamune. Masamune is a sword with an incredible +3 magic to it. It also, specifically for Sephiroth, does not violate the power of the Blade Song. We'll go over this in a sec, but Blade Song basically states that if you wield a weapon with 2 hands, Blade Song ends. Masamune is an exception to this. Sephiroth is capable of wielding such a long and powerful sword with both hands without giving up any of his fluidity in combat. Masamune, as a +3 greatsword, is quite a weapon to behold. His Azamar powers give him celestial resistance, which means he is both resistant to radiant and necrotic damage. He has dark vision, a healing hands power, which allows him to heal himself at will, or anyone else if he wanted to. And he has the necrotic shroud power, which makes him don his classic black wing, and gives him a fear effect, so that he frightens anyone near him. He does have a military rank and is recognized by many members of the military in this world. As a wizard, he has the standard arcane recovery power, as well as the spell mastery power, giving him a few leveled spells that he can use as cantrips. But as a blade singer, he has the blade song. When he activates this, his intelligence gets added to his armor class, and he gains extra speed and maneuverability. And it basically turns this otherwise squishy spellcaster into a very potent frontliner. And like I said earlier, when he's wielding Masamune, he does not have the limitations that he has to wield a weapon in one hand. Masamune is capable of doing it otherwise. He also has the Song of Defense and the Song of Victory abilities, which give him more power to strengthen his attacks and his defense using his magic, and he has the extra attack feature. Can't beat that. He does have a couple feats. The Warcaster feat lets him focus on his magic more powerfully. I mentioned his Weapon Master feat, his Great Weapon Master feat, which gives him power to wield Masamune even stronger, and his Mobile feat, which cranks his speed up to 50, giving him intensive speed that is very hard to keep up with. But as a blade singer, he's still a wizard, and as a level 18 wizard, his magic is absolutely off the charts. He has the cantrips Green Flame Blade, Firebolt, Infestation, Mind Sliver, Minor Illusion, and Prestidigitation. And because of his spell mastery power, I gave him the Shield spell and the Cure Wounds spell, which he can use as a cantrip. Basically, if you give him enough time, he can just heal himself up infinitely, meaning that in order to beat Sephiroth, you have to be absolutely relentless. At level 1, he can cast Burning Hands, Cause Fear, Charm Person, Disguise Self, Earth Tremor, Fog Cloud, Mage Armor, Magic Missile, Silvery Barbs, and Thunder Wave. An absolutely intensive amount of illusion, enchantments, and just pure attacking prowess. At level 2 spells, he can cast Darkness, Detect Thoughts, Hold Person, Invisibility, Mirror Image, Vortex Warp, and Tasha's Mind Whip. Just battlefield control spells that gives him an endless supply of options for tricking and ensnaring his foes. Level 3, he can cast Counterspell, Fireball, Fly, Lightning Bolt, and Major Image, but more importantly, he can cast Haste and Slow, greatly giving himself an advantage in combat and limiting his enemies to much, much lower powers than they normally would have. At level 4, he can cast Banishment, Dimension Door, Greater Invisibility, Hallucinatory Terrain, Phantasmal Killer, and Summon Aberration. Very, very much playing into this whole alien and mind-twisting power that Sephiroth is shown to have time and time again. At level 5 spells, he can cast Animate Objects, Bigby's Hand, Dominate Person, and Modify Memory. At level 6, he can cast Mental Prison and Programmed Illusion, giving him endless ways to trick people into seeing what he wants them to see. This continues on at level 7 with Mirage Arcane, but he leans a little bit more into the destructive power here with Finger of Death. At level 8, he can cast Control Weather, which he is shown to do with his magic, summoning storms and controlling the elements. And finally, at level 9, his iconic power, Meteor Swarm, using that ever so plot-integral black materia to summon meteors from the sky. One could imagine him doing this with his super powerful spell slot, crushing armies and decimating his enemies. Sephiroth, along with his giant sword, his insanely high AC, and his powerful spells that seem to give him every option in the book to trick, deceive, overpower, and overwhelm his foes. He is one of the strongest villains in all of video games, and is not to be underestimated. There's a reason it took a team of super soldiers wielding powerful magic items to even have a chance at taking down Sephiroth. And he would easily be a top tier villain, standing alongside Devil Lords and Demon Lords with his immense power. Sephiroth is one of the all-time greats. This has been the Relaxed Fantasy Review. If you enjoyed the video, please like and subscribe down below, and keep your eyes peeled for more character creation coming down the line soon. Have a good one, my friends.